Hello students, welcome back. So let us discuss about software process assessment in this lecture. So process assessment, what is the use of this software process assessment and what do we mean by software process assessment and what are the different phases available? So all these we are going to address in this particular lecture. First, we'll try to understand what is this software process assessment. So process assessment, it is going to help organization to improve themselves. So in by conducting software process assessment, the organization is going to identify what are the critical problems and establish the improvement priorities based on this identification. So the basic objectives of this software process organization goes something like this. First, the organization is going to understand how first the software process is going to understand how the organization is going to work. Next, what are the major problems available in that particular organizations will be identified. Next, the assessment will focus on enrolling its opinion on leaders and the change process that are supposed to be enrolled in the software process development. So software process assessment conducted is not considered as an audit here, but instead it can be considered as a review of a software organization. So this will advise the management and professionals on how they can improve their operation. The purpose of this assessment is simply to identify the highest priority areas for the improvement that are identified and then provide the guidance on how these improvements can be incorporated so that the identified high priority areas can be improved successfully. So basically assessment consists of three different phases. So first phase is preparation phase, second is assessment phase, and third is recommendation phase. Sorry for that. In preparation phase, the senior manager will be considered as the committed person here. So he is going to be committed to the process, and he is supposed to agree to the participate. Sorry, he is supposed to agree to participate personally during this particular phase. So here the action will be taken based on resulting recommendations or he is going to explain the reasons for not doing the actions which are not committed. So phase one is going to be concluded with a brief on 1 or 2 days training program for the assessment team. After this conclusion is done, the assessment phase comes into picture, and this assessment phase will be conducted on on-site basis. Phase two will be conducted on on-site. So this particular phase typically carries for several days. It may take around 2 to 3 weeks also, depending on the size of the organization. So it is going to be concluded with a preliminary report of the findings that are conducted by the local management team. After the assessment team concludes, so the phase three comes into picture. So phase three goes with uh, recommendations. So here the recommendations will be presented to the local managers. So the key players in recommendations are the local managers here. So the local action team is assembled to plan and implement the recommendations in phase 3, right? So this particular phase 3 may provide assistance during the period and it may participate in subsequent follow-up of assessment. So these are the three different phases of assessment. So this assessment is also based on five different principles. So what are these assessment principles? There are five different principles available. So first principle is the assessment team need to understand what is the need for the process model as a basis of their assessment here. So after identifying the need requirement, there is a requirement to provide confidentiality during this particular assessment principle, right? And next, senior managers are supposed to be involved, and their involvement is more crucial during this assessment period. Fourth is they need to respect the views of all the people and organizations that are being all the people of the organization that are being assessed. This attitude plays a key role during this assessment. And finally, their action, how they are planning to complete their action of sequence of actions. So that can be taken as your last principle, that is an action orientation, right? So the assessment process mainly focuses on three different steps. So the first step is to identify the organization to be assessed. So first, before the assessment process starts, they need to identify which organization they are going to assess here, and the they need to identify the team who is going to perform this particular assessment process. So first step is you are supposed to form an assessment team here. So the before assessment team is formed, and the leader to this particular assessment team is supposed to be selected first. So this particular person will be considered based on his previous experience, and he able to lead up any particular small group or large group, and was he convincingly present throughout the results or not. So in broad way, I can say it like before forming an assessment team, the person who is going to lead this particular team should be an experienced person. So this particular assessment team will be head by a person, and the assessment team should also have a software developers, one or two experienced person in each and every phase throughout the software process. Along with this software developers, 4 to 6 persons form a team through which a desired result can be identified. Uh, while forming a team, software assessment team, as money is also a crucial role. So forming more teams may lead to more money. So and it is also hard to manage. So we cannot create harder teams here. So hardly we can restrict this number of teams to be either 8 to 10 participants in usual. So and that is a good practice. So here nobody should participate in the assessment who is otherwise personally involved in reviewing, supporting, or managing the projects being assessed. So the teams should be drawn from several groups within the organization. uh, so while drawing this, we need to keep in mind that possibly the people should come from the projects other than those selected for review. Second goes with self-assessment considerations. So when you go with the self-assessment considerations, the organizations need to first assess themselves. They should be aware of several potential problems that are available in their organizations. The site managers who desire a self-assessment should reach to an agreement through the line managers on its importance and their commitment to support it. They need the site managers need to be committed here, and they should agree to participate in developing action plans to address the recommendations. And last, assessment ground rules. So it is always recommended to have a written set of assessment ground rules for the organization that is being assessed by the team. So the items to be covered in this assessment ground agreement should go something like this. The rules should be kept confidential first. The assessment team members should come to this agreement that the rules are always uh, confidential. The site manager he should personally agree to participate in the opening and closing of the assessment meeting. Next, in addition to the regular members, the site manager should agree to sign one or two local professionals to handle the assessment agreements. They will be full, right. So this will help up in identifying the follow-up actions or lead the follow-up action plan that can be taken as a part of their work. Next, the site manager should commit to develop and implement appropriate action plans here. And finally, the site manager should agree to designate a person responsible for developing the action plans. Uh, it is always recommended or if possible, the site manager should be a person or a member of this assessment team only. So these are the basic assessment process or assessment ground rules that are taken into consideration while performing this software process assessment. That's all for this lecture. We'll meet in your next lecture. Thank you.